Hello and welcome to round 3 of IMBA Cup 2. We got two very good players here. We got the current champion of the IMBA Cup, Lucian, playing as Aeon. He's taking on Armageddon. Plays some very good players, still undefeated. Going sera from first air. And of course on this map, haven't seen this one much before. It is usually a 3v3 naval battle. Each person gets an island. Of course in a 1v1 it's gonna all be about air control and transports. And with Tech 1, both these factions can float on water. There are Auroras and, of course, the floating arty from Seraphim. And it seems like this mystery of Nefarious is beginning to unravel. Still don't know for sure, but perhaps Solution can finish up his investigation and make the choice. It'll be entirely up to him. He is in charge of the attorney for what happens. But I guess people should stay tuned. See, just engineers, no bombers so far from Armageddon, even though he went first air. Some scouts, so this is a big advantage for Aeon. They can put their scouts on water. It's an advantage they have over any faction. And we've seen Funkov really like Aeon on water maps, perhaps for one of these reasons. But of course, Aeon versus Seraphim, floating arty versus Aurora. The Auroras will dominate against floating arty under equal situations, but of course floating arty, if it gets into your island, it's very difficult to defend against. Can't do point defenses. So it looks like it's a single engineer Tech 1 spam. And you can see Armageddon trying to get a lot of build capacity here, coming up on minute 3. But neither player really attacking much at all. We've only seen scouts from Lucian, otherwise it's been pretty quiet. Now interceptors. Whole bunch of interceptors, and you can see it's basically, well, two factories. One factory making engineers, a couple engineers making power, and now transport. So this is a build for Arma to get quick air control and transports. That's what he's going for. These scouts really nice from Lucian, and of course this interceptor from Lucian can be very interesting for Armageddon. Now bomber, perfect timing here. Bomber and interceptor to kill, and don't want to put anything on that interceptor if you're Armageddon, and this will be a big loss early on. This is a very expensive unit. And Lucian, the champion, gets an advantage. Also, we see Armageddon fighting over, see 2 kills for that interceptor, fighting over Lucian's base. Lucian also working on some navy. It looks like a pretty big naval spam, and his ACU moving out to an island. This is quite different. See that wreck has been reclaimed already, and yet another transport. So Armageddon forced him to make another transport. You can see that Armageddon is moving out to his expansion islands with single engineers, got bombers, but Lucian's scouts doing some good work, and this bomber could be very valuable if it takes that engineer. No factory here for Armageddon, but it does appear that in terms of air control, Armageddon getting the upper hand. They'll fly in trying to take out this this drop. Perhaps a mistake there from Lucian, should have just kept them down. 2 interceptors in the air, some flak trying to kill those, and looks like, yes, that was a drop just in time. There's a nice wreck for Lucian. So we see some pretty nice air battles here and there, and this is a successful bomber from Lucian, very important to preventing Arma from expanding, and actually both players now with the Tech 1 bombers, and this is aggressive drop from Armageddon, one of Lucian's islands. So I guess on this map the islands are all funny shaped, so it's possible to drop and counter drop. It's really hard to control. And of course Lucian's ACU on this island, totally spotted. Some nice work from the interceptors. Looking back at Armageddon's base, there's a whole bunch of power, transport, and big Tech 1 air spam. Still sitting on 2 factories, and the ACU surprisingly not very aggressive. Multiple naval factories from Armageddon as well. Looks like making frigates. 2 frigates and 1 submarine. Be hard to take on Aeon. Looks like now a drop from Lucian. Just saw a bomber get taken out. And Lucian realizing that Armageddon already got a foothold, a whole bunch of factories. This is very good stuff here from Armageddon. Lucian just gets down, is going to get a point defense course. This will be easily countered by artillery, which Armageddon already has, and he has total reconnaissance here with these interceptors. We see bombers from Lucian moving in, but total air domination now by Armageddon. You can see quite a few engineers on the air factories, multiple air factories from Lucian, but in terms of numbers in the air, total domination from Armageddon. And on this map, that is so crucial. If you can control air, you can control how quickly people can move on different islands. And now we are seeing map control from Armageddon, 4 out of 6 islands. This is the island where Lucian went with his ACU, so it was pretty safe that he was going to get it. But here, that was that aggressive drop, and as expected, point defense gets taken out. And this artillery, 2 kills now, some tanks, 3 kills, 4 kills. It's going to be a loss of a Hydra. An engineer escaping here for Lucian. Here coming up on minute 10, a bit of a Tech 1 naval fight. Frigates, frigate on frigate action. Of course, the submarines totally dominate the Tech 1 naval battles. And perhaps a little bit of success here from Lucian with his interceptors. And an aggressive frigate's going to find a whole bunch of naval factory for Armageddon. Those bombers are going to be taken out. Good stuff from Lucian. But elsewhere, a pretty massive air force still for Armageddon. Of course, Tech 1 Air does run out of fuel after a little while, so you can't just have those patrol indefinitely. Now we're seeing 7 Tech 1 naval factories from Armageddon. It's a massive naval spam. Still a bit of trouble for Arma grabbing all these mass extractors. That's probably really slowing them down. Actually, these islands also have some mass extractors. Not clear what the plan is. Lucian getting an upgrade. And Lucian asking why is he failing. One guess about why he's failing is that the Armageddon has way more mass extractors. I think that would be the biggest reason. We also see 6 naval factories. Yes, and that early mass extractor advantage is really critical when players make so much Navy. Navy very expensive in terms of mass. So this large naval spam much less of an effect on Armageddon's eco than Lucian's. And in terms of just submarines versus frigates, that was a mistake from Lucian, it appears. He wants frigates instead of subs, and that means a lot of his frigates are just going to turn into wrecks that perhaps Armageddon pick up. And this is a nice frigate force now. Will be numbers for Arma, so Arma is in a position to win naval. And here comes the Arty. This is the Sera from Arty. That's such a powerful Tech 1 weapon, taking out mass extractors on Lucian's main island. And this is just beginning to look bad. We're now seeing Lucian go on a T2 transport. Now this is beginning to look a little more interesting. Lucian has some plans. He also has some Tech 2 air with some gunships, Tech 2 power, Tech 2 point defense here for defense against artillery, so relatively secure. And he is going into the corner of this ACU. He did get an upgrade, I believe it was Tech 2, at least Tech 2 engineering. We see Armageddon still back at base, making some actually a T2 transport here. Interesting to see what he does with a T2 transport. This is Tech 1 air, this is Tech 2 air, some gunships now. So gunships from Arma, swift ones from Lucian, and still total air domination from Armageddon, total naval and air domination, as well as the floating domination. We're now seeing a couple gunships from Lucian. He's trying to keep those away, keep them safe. That's 5 gunships. And his ACU is still up in the air. It's been flying for a while. Looks like he's getting behind Armageddon's main base. Arma still spamming Tech 1 interceptors, a whole bunch of Tech 1 power. No Tech 2 power for Arma, so perhaps in terms of eco, that's the slight advantage that Lucian does have. But that's going to be short-lived. Now it appears that Lucian is moving in. He's got a whole bunch of Tech 2 planes, so he should be able to get air control here, and he's got the drop. This is good timing, gunships and drop at the same time. So Tech 2 ACU dropped. Armageddon moving into the ocean. He just played safe. Some Tech 2 flak, Tech 1 flak. So Lucian successfully drops off multiple engineers as well as the ACU, making some point defense. Armageddon makes the right choice, makes point defense with his own engineers. So whoever can make more. Lucian loses all of his engineers. He could totally overcharge that. That would really help him. So that's 6 kills. And Armageddon actually choosing to attack and runs into a couple point defenses. And now the gunships from Lucian, actually those died pretty quickly, but 5 gunships did a lot of damage, 3,000 health for Arma, and Lucian actually higher health, Tech 2 versus Tech 1, and AC used 3,000 extra health for Lucian, and he's really making that count. And after 15 minutes, this is a draw in a game where Armageddon completely dominated. So, a very nice round 3 game, a draw, and we're gonna see another. Hopefully, people enjoyed it.